Hello and welcome to another episode of Startup Diaries. This is a little mini series I've got on the channel just to walk through the day-to-day processes and document the day-to-day within my startup job. Currently working as a marketing executive for a startup trade body organization. A lot going on today, a lot of social media work going on, a lot of asset production going on, so I'm going to be having a little chat about that. But before we do, I wanted to quickly show you guys a video that I made talking about personal development and how I got the opportunity to work inside of the job role that I do, because I don't have a university degree, and a lot of people automatically think to work at a decent level inside of the marketing world you need a degree. It's just not the case at all. So let me pop up this video for you to have a quick look at, and then we can continue with our day. How I got a mid-level marketing job without a degree? Let's explain it, shall we? First things first, a personal portfolio. Please, for the love of God, create one. Show off your work. It doesn't matter if it's creative, operational, it doesn't matter. Just show off the work you have done. If you have done any freelancing before, which I very highly recommend everyone does, then please make sure to document any external work and whack it in that personal portfolio. My portfolio gave me an edge over competition. Yours will definitely do so as well. Number 2, focus on results, not processes. When you're writing your CV, resume, whatever you want to call it, don't write, I manage social media accounts for 4 different clients. You should be writing, I increased engagement by 75% across 4 different client accounts. Whatever the situation may be, that's just a made up example, but just please, whatever processes you have run, don't just write about the process because everyone's doing the same thing. Talk about your results, please. Number 3, just show off, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's through your personal portfolio, whatever the case may be. On your social accounts that you are linking to a job application, so 9 times out of 10 LinkedIn, you could have a creative Instagram or whatever the case may be. Make sure you're showing off. Just talk about how sick you are. Talk about the positive results you had. For example, my job is very corporate. I talk to some incredibly senior people that have been in this industry longer than I've been alive, and I still show them all of the creative work that I have directed and have been part of. Seriously, any good CEO will appreciate this sort of creative work. There is absolutely no way that having this stuff on your personal portfolio could be any sort of a bad thing at all. So yeah, overall, just make yourself stand out as much as possible. Everyone is sending the same CVs, the same resumes, the same cover letters. Everyone's sending the exact same stuff. Just try and stand out, be creative, it'll get you very far. It helped me, it should help you. Cheers. So yeah, personal development is something that I've really been striving for within the early days of my marketing career thus far, which is why that I'm super happy that earlier on in the week I had my first ever mentoring session with a senior marketing manager, and it is someone that my colleagues know very well, so they know that this lady could step in and really help me out and answer my questions and sort of work through any problems that I am having, to allow me to be in a position to develop to a marketing manager level. And obviously this is where things get a bit more techie and the responsibilities within the organization get put on your shoulders a little bit more. My company is a startup. We have not too many people working for us on a day-to-day basis. We only have 4 full-time employees and a couple part-timers. So there automatically is a lot of responsibility on my shoulders in the first place, but when that has been elevated to a marketing manager status, as you can expect, a lot of the day-to-day process will be shifted on and be fully my responsibility. And the mentoring session went really, really well. The lady I was speaking to was super knowledgeable, had a very similar background to me, which is always very helpful just to get that early stage relationship brewing. But anyone working inside of a smaller organisation, I would really, really advise you just to pester your seniors, whether it's the marketing manager or whoever your line manager is, or even the CEO, if you have that sort of direct contact. If you are working at a smaller company, it'd probably be a bit harder if you're working for a FTSE 100 company or something like that. But just push to get a mentor, push to get someone who is 10, 20 years your senior, who has been in the industry for a long, long time and that has achieved great things. You can learn so much just off of an hour conversation. But yeah, so today has been relatively busy, as I mentioned before. There's simply a lot... Oh, let me get in frame quick. Ooh, hey. There's been a lot going on in the span of content development, and content development is something where, as a smaller organisation that hasn't been around for too long, we don't have too much evergreen content. Evergreen content being content that you can store in a vault and reuse as time goes on. And the process that I'm really pushing for within my organisation at the minute is simply to create evergreen content that has a long shelf life. Because you can spend hours creating a piece of content that does really well, but after 24 hours, after the next week has commenced or whatever, nobody will ever see, use, touch or hear about that piece of content ever again. And it's a bit of a shame because you spend a lot of time building things and you can't leverage them in the future. Then it's a bit of a shame to see all that time essentially go to waste. And as a smaller organisation, we don't really have the facilities to always be pumping out content, whether it's articles or social media posts or whatever the case may be. Now, alongside the development in terms of the mentoring session, there was a big emphasis on the company providing training for myself, which is amazing to see. And it's something I'm readily seeing within the marketing industry itself, is that the companies really just want to train up their employees to be the best they can. They will offer a bunch of resources to those juniors to push them to the higher level, because as a senior within a business, you don't always want to be hiring. That process is very costly and also very time consuming. So being able to take on a junior and develop that junior into a higher role over time is just a lot more organic, a lot more easy, and will probably provide better results moving forward. But the same advice stands for pushing for a mentor within your organisation or within your industry. Is push for training. Whether there's some sort of 1-year diploma you could go on, or whether it's some LinkedIn training courses that you could go on to learn about social media management, or whether Microsoft offer a course to really hone your Excel skills. There's all the resources are available to you. You just have to make your seniors aware of the resources, and a good senior and a good CEO just won't say no to your own learning and development. Now, one thing I want to talk about quickly as well is sort of building up the resources and finding time to build strategy. Now, one of the things my mentor said in the session that we had together was that strategic planning and processes are completely different and should be prioritized differently. The day-to-day process of building something and putting it out there, the processes of the tasks that only take a couple hours to facilitate and send on to wherever they need to go. Whereas building a strategy takes weeks. And building a strategy first will influence what the processes look like moving forward. So a big emphasis should go on to making sure the strategy of how you're going to operate in the next 3 months, 6 months is looking before you start to work on the processes. Because one thing that we talked about is, as a marketing executive, a lot of my job role is supporting. And supporting is all well and good. I get sent something, I get an email saying, Mark, can you help us with this, blah, blah, blah. And then within 2 hours or within an hour, it's done. And from that lower level point of view, that's fantastic. I am a body, I am a resource that can pump out whatever needs to be pumped out really quickly. But that isn't sustainable long term. And building a strategy to make sure that the processes are, number one, achievable and can be monitored. Number two, last a long time. If a process is me building something and then chucking it out and then it has no shelf life, like we talked about with the content strategy previously, then it's just halting the process of developing a content strategy or just a strategy in general, which will stop us from just pumping out content, which is a bit unnecessary at times. And number three is simply just having strategy and understanding where the company is heading in the next 3 months, 6 months to a year is just so crucial for everything just to fall under a nice comfy umbrella. And you're not dreading to walk in the office every single day and knowing that you have so many things to do on your to-do list, and you know that because there isn't a strategy and there isn't processes set up, people are just going to chuck more at you. But overall, it's been a very fruitful week for myself, having the first session with my mentor, building out strategies to really benefit the organisation, and learning a hell of a lot along the way is always going to be the most important thing. With that in mind, if you did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment down below any questions you had. I'm always open for discussion. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe. See you later.